Hello everyone. Today, we're going to have a little discussion on whether Fallout 4 is a good game. This is based on the public's general response, and I'm doing it now. Why am I doing it now? Because it's, 8 months after the game's been out? 5 months, a little less, a little more? And this is when the hype has definitely 100% died down. We just got our first set of DLC, and true, honest opinions are starting to come out. At first, it was either you love it or you hate it. The fanboys are loving it. The, hateful people are hating it. It doesn't matter. So, now that it's been a long, good time, I think it's time we take an outside look and an inside look at the public and my opinion, and I want to hear your opinion too, obviously, on whether Fallout 4 is a good game, and whether it is a good Fallout game, and whether it's the best in the franchise or not. So, first we're going to take a look at some reviews from companies. Polygon gave Fallout 4 a 95, Trusted Reviews gave it an 80, Metacritic gave it an 88, and the user score from Metacritic was 61. We'll get into that in a minute. And last but not least, we have IGN's review of 95. They said it had an outstanding world, great crafting system, good story, great characters, and huge variety in content. And the only downside they said were the bugs, which, Bethesda is known for. So, let's look at Metacritic's user reviews again. It's a 61 because it shows that the fans are displeased. It shows that some of the fans are displeased with how the game turned out. And we're going to address the complaints that most fans have with the game. So let's start off with the lack of RPG elements. There's only 4 endings, and there's no real bad, quotation marks anyways, ending. There's only a subjectively bad ending. And you could say the Institute is good, you could say the Brotherhood is bad. So really, there is no technical bad ending. In Fallout 3, it was straightforward. If you injected the purified if you injected the FEV into the purifier, then people are gonna die. That's obviously bad. And if you in Fallout New Vegas, the Legion is clearly the bad guys. So, who's the bad guy in Fallout 4? Obviously, it's said the Institute. But you can view the Institute as the good guy if you side with them. So, that's a big complaint. And we also have a lack of player choice. There isn't much bad dialogue, and we'll get into the dialogue system in a minute. There isn't too much you can do. You can kill people. You can side with the faction you perceive as bad. You can steal stuff, and that's about it. There's no karma system anymore, and that took away one of the core things of Fallout as a franchise is karma. Karma's been there forever, and it decided who liked you and who didn't. And in New Vegas they developed it further, and I wish they would have developed it even more further in this game, but well, they didn't. There's also no bad followers. There's no one that is clearly a bad person. You have to have bad karma to side with, like you had Jericho, who was a retired raider in Fallout 3. He was clearly a bad guy. I mean, he states that you have to have bad karma to have him. But in Fallout 4, you can recruit anyone and do anything. The only way people will dislike you is if you say something that goes against their ideals, or you steal enough, really, unless you're Hancock and you're okay with stealing. There's also not a lot of side quests in the game, the base game vanilla anyways. You have about, 30 side quests aside from the main story. That's not a whole lot. There's about 60, maybe 70 hours of gameplay. I know some people have gotten 90, but I'm not talking with settlement mode. There's only about 70 or 80 hours of gameplay within the vanilla game aside from settlement mode. And that's disappointing to some people because there's about 50 or 60 hours of gameplay in Fallout 3. The low-res textures are a problem to some people. Some people don't like how quote-unquote bad the game looks. PC players don't have this as a problem, but graphically, like people who love graphics weren't exactly pleased with this game. It's a good-looking game, but it's not a great-looking game. You know, I'm not a graphics person myself, but even I know when the graphics aren't amazing. And I'm not looking for a graphically amazing game. We're just taking a look at some opinions that other people have, too. So even though graphics aren't a problem to me, it may be a problem to someone else. And then last but not least, settlement mode. Some people think settlement mode was the greatest thing ever. They use it all the time. They've put so many hours into it. And I have myself. I've put a large portion of my game into settlement mode on all my playthroughs, for that matter. While other people haven't even touched it. Some people don't want to touch it. They don't want to use it because they feel it is forced, it's dumb, they don't want to use it, and you don't really have to. You only have to use it a couple times in the main story. Some people say it was taking up a large part of the game for something they could have filled with extra content. If they hadn't spent so much time on settlement mode, then we could have more content. And while that is agreeable, I think settlement mode is a good option to the game. And once again, that's just my opinion. You might think differently. But well, with all these things said, will Fallout stand the test of time? Will it outlast other games? Will it, stay long and hard and keep going? Yes. The simple answer is yes. Fallout 4 has great reviews. It has a fan base, whether the fan base absolutely loves it or not, has a very vibrant fan base, a critical fan base. People who will criticize the game because they want to make it better. And the game is growing. We've only just gotten our first set of DLC. And after all, beating the game with different playthroughs will grow old, and that excuse will mean nothing a year or two from now. So yes, Fallout 4 will last longer than most games ever. I think it will last longer than any other Fallout game and any other Bethesda game for that matter. It has one of the best communities in the gaming community as a whole. They're critical, they care for their game, and it's gotten bigger. After Fallout 4 being the big AAA release it was, a lot of new fans joined in on the series. Some people might call that a bad thing because, they don't like new fans. But this just shows that gives Bethesda that push to make more and better content. They have more people to appease, they have more to do. And some people would argue that's a bad thing if they have more people to please, because then they'll go with the casual route, which is what they somewhat did in Fallout 4 with the dialogue system. But with console mod support and the biggest player base a Fallout game has ever seen, and the best support Bethesda has ever given this game, with patches every once in a while, new DLC plans, a season pass, I believe Fallout 4 will last longer than any Bethesda game ever. In the future, maybe not, but as of now, I think Fallout 4 will last years, decades. I think people will still be playing this game in 2020. Do you guys agree? I want to hear you guys' comments. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Tell me what you think. Be critical of the game. Remember, as a Fallout community, we have to be critical of the Fallout franchise as a whole, so that way we can make the games in the future better. We have to criticize Bethesda. Some people don't like the Season Pass. We have to criticize them for that. Although I think the Season Pass was great, if you don't, make sure you give them that feedback. Voice your opinion. And I want to hear your guys' opinion in the comments. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.